the 17th of October, and I think this date is a date everyone in my generation will remember forever. And at the moment, one of the first chants that the crowd of people started chanting was الشعب يريد إسقاط النظام, which basically means people want to bring down the regime or the state. And I looked at my roommate and I said, I'm really scared of chanting that. I'm scared of saying it because I saw, we all believed so strongly in the Arab revolutions, and we still do, but we saw what happened in Syria, we saw what happened in Yemen. There was a palpable sense of fear. And I looked to my right, and there were a group of young shirtless men burning a huge billboard. And the moment in my head feels so cinematic because, again, I thought to myself, is this it? Is this what we've been waiting for? And to be honest, it felt like it was, and it still is today.
So the tents that you see behind me are tents where talks were organized extensively since the first few weeks of the revolution. And these tents came as a response to this sudden interest that people now have regarding political issues and social issues and also economic issues. Now people don't feel helpless anymore. They have a sense of agency that they can do something about it. They can really make a change. So now they really want to know how. In order to understand why people are so dissatisfied with the current government, we need to understand that this government is not new. It's the political system that has been installed since the end of the war in 1990, after 15 years of war. Now, if we want to look at the ruling class after 1990, well, basically the warlords themselves came into power, so they found a new way to rule. But also you had a new group that joined the ruling class, which are basically influential businessmen.
So basically this club of politicians and bank owners and wealthy people, they occupied the state the last 30 years and destroyed it, basically, by making their interest of their private companies, taking all the contracts with the state and leaving the state giving very poor services with very poor infrastructure.
Now, the tactic of this ruling class is to divide and rule. So they created a lot of barriers between different communities, whether barriers according to religious sect, but also geographical areas. So they try to divide the Lebanese society across the country, and you have a leader for each community. So it becomes really easy to politicize religion, because here when we talk about sectarianism, we don't mean it in a theological way, but it's actually very much politicized. So it becomes really easy to create the fear of the other, Sunnite versus Shiite, Christian versus Muslim, and so on.
The ruling class protects one another, and this narrative we have that they're against one another is very false, because we've seen time and again how they will come together. These politicians who are on the opposite sides of the spectrum, how they come together to oppress us once we speak up against them. There's a current technocratic government in place, and they call themselves technocratic, but we absolutely do not trust them to be able to handle the financial crisis we're in. They were brought in by the same ruling class that we wanted to bring down, and we will bring down. In my opinion, and in the opinion of most Lebanese, this ruling class has failed, is extremely racist, inefficient, corrupt, tied to geopolitical interests that do not in any way align to our demands as protesters or our right to live a dignified life. From day one, politicians were so focused on saying, oh, the revolutionaries and protesters are not organized and there's no clear kind of revolutionary demands. But actually from day one, even if it was non-hierarchical and decentralized, it was very clear what the protests were about or what the revolution is about, which is a complete overhaul of the system that has been put in place since the end of the Civil War.
So the Lebanese crisis is very particular because it's not only a crisis in the bankruptcy of the state, but there's a high risk of the bankruptcy of the whole banking system and of the devaluation of the Lebanese pound. So it's a triple crisis with, and this is what we fear, a very high impact on the Lebanese society. If we do not have the means to import as we used to, there's a very high risk that we might arrive to a point, and we don't know yet when, where we will not be able to afford the basic needs in food, in medication, and specifically fuel, which we rely on for our electricity and for transportation, that are still very dependent on fuel. So this means that we might arrive, and this is maybe hard to imagine, but very likely, to a humanitarian crisis in Lebanon. 1% of the owners of the bank's deposits own 50% of the value of deposits. So this gives a figure on how much the concentration of wealth is in Lebanon. So we believe that those people who profited from the system the most should be the ones to pay for the losses today.
What you see behind me is the downtown area that was rebuilt after the end of the war in 1990. And since it was rebuilt, this area is only affordable for the very rich. And if you would come here in the past 10 years, you would really think it's a ghost city or a ghost town because it's so empty. What you should know is that the downtown area, the entire area, was rebuilt by a private company called Solidaire. And the man behind this company was Rafiq Hariri. So Hariri, as prime minister and as the most influential politician, used and abused his influence in order to achieve his project and get the privatization.
We want to re-put our hands as common interest on our services, on our economy, on our infrastructure, and not leave it to this club of private interest, on the contrary.
In the first week, we started cooking for one another. We took care of one another. If one of our friends went down, we made sure that we would call her. We would arrive to this space and see that it's really a shared space. And most people spoke about this, that what was so powerful about the protests happening in downtown Beirut is that we reclaimed it as our own space, which it is. This is the place for the people.